This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for August 2, 2023, former members falling on hard times as the pensions and retroactive funds not paid on time. The Department of Veterans Affairs, which is responsible for helping former Jamaica Defense Force members transition to civilian life, has come under fire from a group of veterans who are questioning its viability, alleging financial embarrassment as a result of late pension and retroactive payments. I have served for over 25 years. We as the veterans are suffering because the Veterans Affairs Office is not doing what they are supposed to do. They are not representing the veterans as it relates to pension payments and retroactive payments. In the JDF, you are not supposed to have any other job, and whenever persons retire, they are expected to get their pension at a particular time, a spokesperson for the veterans told the news recently. A veteran of the JDF is any person irrespective of age who has served on active duty and was discharged under conditions which were other than dishonorable. The Office of Veterans Affairs at the Military Records Department was established in 2019. In 2020, the force establishment was revised and the OVA was renamed the Department of Veterans Affairs. It is mandated to assist individuals with planning and personal development in transitioning from the JDF in order to enhance their professional portfolio and career prospects, as well as to prepare them for their inevitable transition to civilian life. But according to the individual, who says he has been waiting almost a year since leaving without receiving a dime of his pension, the DVA has deserted its dependents. I have a lot of other persons who were retired before me and they still haven't received any payments as well, and they are falling on hard times. They are financially embarrassed and no one is there to sort it out. Every time you call, people are pushing you around and transferring you to other offices, and nobody is taking responsibility, the spokesperson said in exasperation. The retroactive payment might take a longer time, but they are not doing anything at all as it relates to the veterans. A lot of soldiers are having hard times after serving 25, 22, 18 years with exemplary service, and they are not getting their pension on time. It is pure tardiness as it relates to payment and the sorting out the documentation, the disgruntled former serviceman said, while claiming that he had submitted documents for processing early. We normally hand in documents like 6 months prior to leaving so that we can give them enough time to sort out, and it's not being done. It's happening to too much persons. I've contacted also the pay office in Oak Park Camp as well. There are 2 other offices that sort out payments as it relates to service members or retired personnel, and I have appealed to them and there's still nothing, he told the news. In the meantime, the individual made it clear that he had no axe to grind in airing his complaint via the media. It is not about me alone, there are other persons who are falling on hard times. I am employed, I have been working shortly after I left, but I am feeling it for my peers who have served their country with dignity and skill, not being treated fairly, he declared. A member of the JDF to whom the news was directed, in noting the concerns, said checks would be made with the DVA, and the matter brought to the attention of the command as these things work on an individual basis. A JDF private at the DVA, in advising the news to place its queries higher up, said these are confidential matters. This matter cannot be discussed over the phone. People give a lot of misleading information. The news is still awaiting the response to its queries submitted some 2 weeks ago to the JDF regarding the grouses of the veterans. The police have identified the 2 men whose remains were found in knitted bags in Vineyard Town, Kingston 3 on Monday. They are 19-year-old Calheem Campbell, a construction worker of Homestead Road, Kingston 2, and 21-year-old Omar Lawrence, otherwise called Marco, also of a Homestead Road address. It is reported that about 2 p.m. Monday, residents observed a Nissan Tida motorcar and a Jamco motorcycle parked along Glendale Avenue. The occupants of the car then threw out 2 large knitted bags and sped off. The police were called and the remains of the 2 men were found. Investigators believe the men were killed in their community and their bodies dumped in the Vineyard Town area. The cops are also probing claims that the men were killed in retaliation for Sunday's fatal shooting of an 8-year-old boy and a 34-year-old man in the community of Burger Gully in East Kingston. PNP set to ditch a former JTA president as its candidate for Portland Eastern. The People's National Party is reportedly reconsidering its decision to select a former president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Owen Speed, as its next candidate for Portland Eastern. Speed is reportedly heading home from the United States, where he has been since 2021, when he migrated with his family after more than 32 years in the Jamaican education sector. But on the verge of his return to his homeland, PNP sources have told the news that Speed, who has launched a major campaign on social media, could be returning home to disappointment. According to the sources, there has been a sudden decision to switch from Speed and stick with the party's original choice, Council for the Fellowship Division in Portland Eastern, Colin Bell. The sources pointed out that the PNP was initially convinced to go with Speed after 2 polls showed that Bell would not be able to topple the sitting Member of Parliament Anne-Marie Vaz, who represents the governing Jamaica Labour Party. The polls had found that the PNP was leading the JLP by some 10 percentage points in Portland Eastern, but Bell was trailing Vaz by more than 5 percentage points. This prompted the party to ditch Bell, as this is one of the seats it has to reclaim if it is to form the next government. However, a more recent poll reportedly commissioned by the party's General Secretary, Dayton Campbell, shows the PNP and the JLP in a dead heat in the constituency, while Bell and Vaz are also in a dead heat. It is clear that the General Secretary wants to go with Bell, but it is a problem because there are councillors in the constituency who are adamant that they want to go with Speed, said one source. This is going to become Dayton's problem because if he goes with Bell, the councillors might not do any work in the lead-up to the election, but yet it is not clear that Speed can get the support of the comrades on the ground who are backing Bell, added the source. In an interview with the news from his North Carolina home last week, the West Portland-born Speed said returning to his land of birth and contributing to politics was like ABC. PSOJ calls for government to reinstate Office of Political Ombudsman. President of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Mitri Siaga, is calling for the government to immediately reinstate the Office of the Political Ombudsman. He is expressing concern about what he describes as the increasing divisive rhetoric on the political campaign trail. According to Mr. Siaga, with the absence of a political ombudsman, people feel they are now empowered to say or do anything on the campaign platform, irrespective of the truth or the harm that will be inflicted on others or society.
I recommend that the Office of the the Political Ombudsman be reinstated, but most importantly, that it be given some teeth, because it was a paper tiger prior to this. And I understand why they were giving up that office, because it had no use. So what we're recommending and suggesting and asking for is that the office be reinstated in some way, shape, or form. Some teeth, some legislation be put in place to give it the teeth that it needs to do the job that it needs to do.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.